Here we go. I'll start with, we have a small group, that's perfect. Thank you for coming. We'll spend the next hour with, I hope, a lot of inspiration and a lot of use. Let me hop into the slide for the beginning and explain how we will go with this topic today. My slide should be on.
Yes.
You can see it perfect, and it should be moving as well. Changing career is, in general, even changing the job is a difficult topic, often cause of a big amount of stress. It is difficult if you are trying to change the profession, maybe location at the same time, maybe industry, and it will be especially stressful as you are doing it in Corona. So we decided to bring up this bigger topic into broader audience, and let's see what will come out. I always keep Alex virtually with me. This is my colleague. She's a talent manager, basically talent management and talent acquisition lead in Livit. And we always work together on educative topics connected to career. So in Livit, Livit has a lot of hands-on experience and view into what companies are actually looking for when they are looking for new talents. So gladly, I will open that kitchen door for you right now and share more of the tips, something that you may have not witnessed just because you've always been on the applicant side. So let's keep moving. Just a small understanding of how broad our view is because we constantly work with ideas, with small businesses, growing businesses, scaling businesses, and just remote individuals in our hub. Also a note on why I am handling this topic, mostly because I walk the talk of this constant change and sometimes change in tough times. So I did change industry several times, from logistics to wealth management to more over like recruitment, talent acquisition, talent management for startups and business development. And I did it in quite difficult context of my personal life. Yet the story always teaches me something goes on and it looks better and better. So for example, in my role right now, I managed to embrace all my previous experience and understanding of different industries. And I have a team and employment, which I was seeking for. And at the same time, I have an ability to work with a wide variety of different talents and companies. So let's get into mode of first having a bigger overview. It will be me mostly presenting some ideas, mostly myself talking to myself and presentation. And this part will be recorded for public, for streaming purposes. Hope to spark more interest in smart approach towards careers in a broad audience. And then we will close the door and stay privately in our Zoom room and have more of a question, answer, relaxed discussion. I'll be happy if you guys unmute yourself and we will be able to benefit from the fact that we are able to talk to each other. So for the first half of our time, that's what we have. That was the promise, right? Like how pandemic is changing the reality, how to follow it. Also, it looks like it's more and more, the reality is getting more and more digitalized. How to get there, that will be another topic. And just to share some stories of people who are not like, let's say, rock stars, which we see in TV and big Instagram influencers who made it. I find those stories almost intimidating. I am picking stories which are just few steps further, just few years further from where we may be right now. And those I find the most inspiring. And those people usually do remember how it was, so we still can backtrack the success story. So let's start with industries. And before doing that, I always keep this picture as a very interesting map of a journey of one non-tech candidate who had a journey towards C-level of tech startup. And the details of this journey are not as relevant. The amount of details is relevant. You can see how many touch points that lady had to make in order to make her dream come true, and she had several criteria: location, that it's a tech, blockchain connected, not crypto, but blockchain technology connected startup. And of course, certain financial expectations were there. And also, as she was in 10 years plus in her career, she was keen on having more impact, not being just a small part of a bigger machine, which big enterprises are. That's how she felt most of her way. So just to set your expectations, those are small things. Several touch points may be repeated. Some of them will be sort of time wasted. We don't have the formula from A to B. I will present you all the map. And often it's a journey, and it takes to go through all those touch points in order to achieve what you would like to achieve in your career. So sort of searching just to realize where we are, what pandemic is doing to industries, right? I pulled out many reports for 2020 and 2021, and I was trying to combine what was like the top repetitive 10 more or less. So I crafted this list just to give you a feeling, right? We could expect that game companies will be there, tech companies, again, whatever it means, tech company. Pretty much any company is becoming tech company these days. Many people are getting more into education, especially tutoring, and various health topics and obvious approaches to what we need as a base, as education, as food, as health services, and so on. So industries, right? That's the list of industries. Let's keep moving. I looked into 2021. And again, many from all big outlets, from Forbes, trying to show the list for our future. And what is that? And industries. And I keep looking at those industries, and they, like sales. Is it an industry? It can be sales for one of this industries as well. So the more I was digging into what is thriving, the more confused I was. And I was literally coming to the conclusion, like, does it help? It does not. It looks so complex, so overlapping. Naming is so different that me not planning to change the job, just doing the genuine research for my profession, my stress level was getting higher just because I felt overwhelmed. Then I got into a new chapter of where the world is heading. So reports on any topics which are around predictions, what will be later, not just this year. Let's take 5-10 years in the future. What will grow and in which format? And of course, we have a new list. E-commerce, whatever is remote and adjusted to that. Real estate and how it will change. Health industry remains there. Deliveries, different types of automation that looks a bit scary, but it's there. We have AR. Why not? And the all wide use cases of this. And even such bizarre things as cloud kitchens as a new concept of futuristic localized world. And of course, e-learning as a broadly taken. Again, kind of same, but new names. Does it help? More or less. But by then my stress level was quite high, and I'm like, was really feeling into people who are trying to find themselves again in the new complex world, especially if you were in, for example, damaged industry like hospitality or travel, airlines. There you go. So following that maybe could be like an interesting way of expanding the horizons, looking what's there. It all looks overwhelmingly IT, and that should not be your core approach, in my opinion. But keep researching, just the other way around. My suggestion to start with thinking of your career, no matter if it's just changing job or you have to because your job is not that needed anymore, just because airlines are not working in the frequency we were used to, and properties for tourism you were looking after are not really in demand right now, and nobody knows when they will be. So the idea is, instead of trying to match yourself into the long list of quite confusing industries, is to step back, leave them aside. Maybe it's a good read for a random moment and some philosophical thoughts, and embrace yourself first, and just try to list what you are good at and interested in. And I did this exercise with one of the students in our academy, where we had a career coaching part. So the interesting part in that exercise was the mix, and many people think it's a bad thing. For example, they are genuinely interested in technology and what it does to our lives, right? Maybe someone has a science degree even, and worked for some reason in media and entertainment all their life. And it sounds so disconnected that you may almost feel the urge of getting a new degree, getting 3 new courses, just that they look homogenic and they make you look like some solid professional, and so on. So hold that urge. Being a very unique, very special blend is actually a huge value. And I bet that something just for you already exists. And there are companies, like, for example, for this blend, which will see all your past mixed up experience, different background switching industries, as exactly dream come true match for what they're looking for, just because they are in the cross section of several topics, like, for example, science. How do we teach science with help of technology? To whatever, high school education. How do we support high school education in this rush of changing in the digitalization field, let's say? And another quote from consultations that we have, which is a repetitive, is that people are ashamed. They almost think that just because I don't have the background, meaning degree, in some certain field, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get a job in IT company. Just FYI, and it's exactly like it is on the picture. It's 50-50. Actually, 50% of jobs in tech companies and IT companies are non-tech. Tech companies need tons of different support, need human part into the tech product creation. Yet somehow it feels that those 50% are a bit less. To be honest, they are, because often they are hidden. They are on the hidden job market, and it's good to be in touch with those companies through some other occasion, event, maybe small course, maybe you do a backward research and think of like, okay, you have created this unique blend and you start researching on exactly this type of companies and try to get in touch with them, get into their talent pool. And that's the first thing you need to do. Not a degree. Degree is always nice and needed. Few certifications for the beginning are usually helpful. Yet this bigger journey is better to start later on when you are really assured that, for example, e-learning is something you are passionate about and you would like to devote at least 5 years, few years of your future career. And also, sometimes when people do the research of that special mixed up company that will probably embrace the beauty of my previous career path and changing of industries, there are no openings that fit me. I do not recommend to apply to something absolutely random, yet there are often a fine overlaps, not 110%, but let's say it's like something I could almost do, apply, still try to apply, try to get in front of those people. Sometimes a really good pitch can make an obvious candidate to the front. That's the suggestion. Do not mind that it's that maybe you don't have a degree and the degree is requested, but you have a relevant experience. Maybe it's not 5 years as suggested, but actually 3, almost 4, still a good chance. I always recommend proactivity. And the other challenge is the fact if we have been staying in one job for 5 years or same industry for 5 years and all of a sudden we need to create a huge change the job, change the industry, who knows, maybe even location, or from working in the office start working remotely. That's a lot of change. And I know it's hard and I know it's not easy to reflect this change on the paper because your CV still looks like, okay, you've been in hospitality and now you have applied to something new. Why? Just because, why? Let's zoom out to change your CV slightly and start thinking about other industries. It's good to really zoom out from the industry. You're not a slave to it. It gave you, let's stick to hospitality, gave you tons of great experience in customer service, support, maybe in logistics, maybe in managing small projects like someone's event, like a wedding, who knows? So all those can be embraced, taken out of that industry and implemented into some other industries where our customers, maybe even virtual digital customers. So that exercise is really useful. Let's keep going to stick to the time. And I have a few examples of real people who kind of did it and keep doing it. And here is my favorite example of my colleague, someone who was in the airline industry. And here you go. This starting point sounds tough, right? It is a damaged industry, like 100%, top of the list. Like there was no chance to do the degree in whatever field. And you may feel quite depressed and kind of really not encouraged after months of search. The count of CVs is 300 and not sure like successful interviews as when we've met, the search was still on and no promising interviews in the pipeline. So that's the point where you zoom out and look for help, look for network and for new knowledge. So, and that's where we can find a Josephine today. So that was the path, which we can still backtrack and let's see how the path will evolve over the time. It was a surprising because step by step, if we try to create a map, that would be quite complex. But there was an online course, networking in the mix, Then there was an internship which was cut short because it was obvious that it's a great match. And now the probation is passed, and it's this whole adventure turned from the let's take a course basically into full-time employment. Here you go, and that's a brand new door to the whole new career. So for the public part, I will try to keep it at here with the more of stories with a specific starting point. I will interact more with our audience, and let's close it in here and try to unmute ourselves and talk to each other more. And those who were watching us on social media, I hope at least with such small bullet point list it was helpful. And more information is definitely on our website, also on our impact focused project, Remote Skills Academy, or you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. So yes, I hope it helps. Let me see and get back. Raymond, should we stop recording here?
Yes, 1 second.